Let's talk about something you probably do every single day without a second thought, something that's actually a pretty amazing display of physics. We're going to break down one of the most important safety features ever invented, your car's braking system.
I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it's kind of nuts, right? How does that one light push with your foot bring a massive, heavy machine to a complete safe stop? It honestly feels like magic. But I promise you, it's all science. And we are not talking about a small amount of weight here. Your average car weighs over 1,500 kilograms. That's more than 3,300 pounds. Stopping that much moving mass is a huge job, and it all comes down to understanding one really basic principle. And that core principle is all about energy. See, to stop a car, you can't just make its energy vanish. You have to do something with it. And that is exactly what a braking system is designed to do. A moving car is just jam-packed with what physicists call kinetic energy. That's the energy of motion. And the faster you go, or the heavier your car is, the more of this kinetic energy you're carrying around. And this is where a fundamental rule of the universe kicks in. That's right. It's like the number one rule of physics. Energy can't be created or destroyed. So when you hit the brakes, all that forward momentum, all that kinetic energy has to go somewhere. You can't just delete it. And this is the secret to the whole thing. The entire braking system is just a masterpiece of energy conversion. So the big question is, if you aren't destroying the energy of motion, what are you turning it into? You're treating it for heat. That's it. That's the whole job of a normal brake system, to take all that kinetic energy and turn it into thermal energy or, heat. So how does this incredible energy swap actually happen? Well, it's all thanks to this brilliant and actually pretty simple hydraulic system. It's all about taking a small force from your foot and multiplying it into a massive clamping force right at the wheels. Okay, so if you could peek inside your wheel, you'd find a couple of main players. First, there's the rotor. That's a big metal disc that spins around with the wheel. Then you have the brake pads, which are made of a special high-friction material. The real action happens when these two get pushed together. And this is the magic ingredient that makes it all work. Unlike air, you can't really squeeze a liquid into a smaller space. Think about a water balloon. If you squeeze one end, the pressure is instantly felt everywhere. Brake fluid works the exact same way, sending the force from your foot through the system in an instant. So here's the chain reaction. You press the brake pedal, that pressurizes the brake fluid, that pressure shoots through the brake lines to each wheel, where it activates pistons that shove the brake pads super hard against that spinning metal rotor. Now that intense contact between the pads and the rotor creates a massive amount of friction. And as we know, friction is the force that fights against motion. So as the rotor is forced to slow down, the wheel slows down, and pretty soon your whole car slows down. And just like that, motion energy has become heat energy. But all that energy has to go somewhere, and it becomes a ton of heat. Seriously, during hard braking, your brakes can get hot enough to cook on. If they get too hot, they can start to lose their grip, a really dangerous situation called brake fade. And that's why you'll see a lot of rotors with vents in them. They act like little fans to get rid of all that heat as fast as possible. Okay, so we've got the basic physics down. But modern cars have added a layer of computer smarts on top of all that raw power to make braking not just effective, but way, way safer. And here's why that's so important. A wheel that's rolling on the road has grip, you have control, you can steer. But a wheel that locks up and just starts sliding, well, it has way less grip, and even worse, you can't steer at all. A sliding car is just along for the ride. And this is where the anti-lock braking system, or ABS, is an absolute lifesaver. You've got sensors on each wheel that are constantly checking how fast they're spinning. If it looks like one is about to lock up and skid, this system automatically starts pulsing the brake pressure, like dozens of times a second, to keep that wheel right on the edge of locking, which is where you get the most stopping power. And you've probably felt this. If you've ever had to just stomp on the brakes in an emergency, that weird buzzing or vibrating feeling you get through the pedal, that's not something wrong with your car. That's the ABS system doing its job perfectly, giving you the power to stop fast and steer around whatever's in your way. But the story doesn't end there. For our last section, let's look at the next step in the evolution of braking. It's a really clever twist that you'll find in electric and hybrid cars, and it changes the whole game.
So instead of just turning that motion into wasted heat that just disappears into the air, regenerative braking does something brilliant. It uses the car's own momentum to basically run the electric motor in reverse. And when a motor runs backwards, it acts like a generator, creating resistance that slows the car down. So you see the huge difference here, right? Traditional friction brakes are a one-way street. Kinetic energy turns into wasted heat. But regenerative braking creates this amazing cycle, turning that same kinetic energy into useful electricity that goes right back into your battery to give you more driving range.
Now, it is really important to remember this doesn't totally replace the old school brakes, not at all. Regenerative braking is awesome for slowing down smoothly, but when you need to stop hard and fast in an emergency, your car still relies on those powerful heat-making friction brakes. They're still your ultimate safety net.
And just like that, we've gone from what feels like a magic trick to a really elegant, understandable system of controlled physics. It's this beautiful dance between hydraulics, friction, and even electronics, all working together. So the next time you just tap your brake pedal, maybe you'll appreciate the incredible science that's working to keep you safe.